Howdy. I would like to apologize for the lack of face cam, but every time I try to turn it on, it flashes. So on we go. Our semester project this year was over macro flooding, comparing drone imagery to a FEMA flood zone map. And this was done by Luke Drosh, Dan Moraldo, and myself, Zachary Gonzalez. To summarize the abstract, we took this zone. Let me get a pen here. Took this zone from a FEMA flood map and wanted to compare that with drone imagery. However, initially we wanted to use RTK and LiDAR on a drone, but they were not nearly as accessible. And the data collection on the ArcGIS collector is simply not accurate enough in that far of an area. So this is the area without the FEMA flood map, and we wanted to basically just compare them. Okay, so our problem, like I said, we wanted to compare the FEMA flood map to data collection or our raw data that we would get via RTK, LiDAR, drone imagery, or collector app. And we wanted to do this because we wanted to test the accessibility landowners have to surveying equipment. What's the best bang for their buck? And we found that RTK, even though the school has some, is really expensive and not that hard to, or pretty hard to get a hand on. And this right here, the top slide or the top picture right here, is the way an RTK device works. The bottom one, however, is a drone with a LiDAR. Even though we didn't use either one of these, we still use the drone. So our methods. We wanted to take a Phantom 3 drone, create a flight path for it on Pix4D, even though this is an example of a drone deploy. And the images were uploaded on Pix4D, and they sent those images to ArcGIS Pro, where the raw data becomes processed. Then the processed data is compared and contrasted with the FEMA flood zone layer in ArcGIS Online. After that is all done and the data is all collected, processed, we take the data and put it in an Excel sheet to calculate the average and the standard deviation. Results. This is a flood risk heat map. This was basically our entire result. This showed that the FEMA flood map was pretty spot on even to this day. Everything that's moderate to high flood risk is in the flood map zone. And we determined that there's only a certain amount of areas that are like high risk right here and this little boy right there. The drone captured the images, the changes in elevation, and no major differences were found by the Phantom 3 drone in the flood zone data. To conclude, we determined that drone imaging provides adequate enough data regarding elevation changes in flood zones. And on top of that, we evaluated that data on a smartphone is simply not accurate enough to get a good read and trust the data for your land. However, our research would be complete with the use of RTK GNSS, as I feel that that's the one last step we need to really test what landowner could use for surveying methods. A blank slide because I forgot to take it out. Transition. And This is a quote by Mark Mason. Land surveying has been a positive influence on my life, and I encourage anyone who hasn't considered it to give it a chance. Thank you, and have a good day.